Hello friends, this is David L. Henderson, and I'm welcoming you to Discipleship Part 3. As we saw last time, discipleship has a purpose or a goal, and that is to graduate to apostleship. An apostle in this sense is one who is sent. Jesus has been called an apostle, Hebrews 3:1, and at the proper time he sent his disciples. As my Father hath sent me, even so send I you. That's John 20:21. Our time of training, of discipleship, should be a time of spiritual growth. Here we have opportunity to develop from babes newly born into the family, into full sonship, ready to take on responsibilities as representatives of the kingdom. What then can we do to begin and maintain healthy spiritual growth? Let's find out. There are 4 specific activities that we can engage in that will help us to grow. These are 1. The Word of God, 2. Prayer in the Spirit, 3. Worship, and 4. Fasting. All 4 of these activities, done properly and regularly, will greatly enhance our development in the Spirit and move us forward in our journey from disciples to apostles. But before we begin with the 4 pillars of spiritual growth, I'd like to lay down a bit of foundation material. The Epistle of James tells us that the body without the Spirit is dead. James 2, verse 26. We know from Genesis 2:7 that when God formed the body of Adam from the material of this physical world, he breathed into that body the breath of life, or spirit, and the man became a living soul. Beginning here, and with much more scriptural evidence, we see that the human being, each of us, can be seen as a 3-part being, with a body made of physical material, a spirit breathed into our father Adam, which gives life to the body, and a soul. Students of the Word, far more learned than I, have described the soul as consisting of the mind, or the intellect, the emotions, and the will. When Adam sinned, his spirit, by which he had been in constant contact with God, became separated from the spirit realm. In his relationship to God, he became spiritually dead. His spirit continued to exist, for the body without the spirit would be dead, but it could no longer function fully as it had before. Adam was left with a fallen human nature. As a result, all of Adam's descendants, us, are born spiritually separated from God. When we received the redemption offered by Jesus, we were born again, and our spiritual relationship with God was renewed. However, our physical bodies are not changed, and our soulical parts, the mind, the emotions, and the will, contain the habits and thought patterns they had before. We might say that discipleship involves 2 major objectives: the renewing of the mind and the mortification of the deeds of the flesh. Your born-again spirit is as clean at the moment of your redemption as it can be. You are like an innocent newborn baby. Your soul, however, must be trained, renewed. It must unlearn the natural ways of the old life and be taught how to operate in the newness of the new life. The flesh, the physical body, is and will remain the hardest part of all. Only through the renewed mind, the strength of will that comes with spiritual growth, can we keep the old nature in the flesh under control. I want to be clear on this one point. Not everything the flesh desires is sin. We all need to eat and sleep and be comfortable, etc. But the flesh will always attempt to control our lives. It will always distract from spiritual matters. When we get to fasting, we will find some ways to restrain the flesh, so stay tuned. We've covered a lot of ground, and there is more yet to cover. As we progress, I invite you to visit us on Facebook, drop us a comment, ask questions, and share these discussions with your friends. Somebody you know needs to hear the things we discuss here. Until next time, God bless you all.